Welcome to the IT Experts podcast, the only podcast to help MSPs scale to 1 million, and if already there, get to 5 and go faster. At the end of the day, isn't it all about building a business that works for you rather than you for it? I hope you enjoy the show. Good morning, everyone. Great to see you or hear you. This is our first Facebook Live in the group. This is a real monumentous day today. This is our 100th episode of the IT Experts podcast, which we're just a little bit excited about, aren't we?
Very excited, absolutely.
Which is great. So we're going to cut into the podcast. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the IT Experts podcast, 100th episode, Mr. Stuart Warwick. Woo! Here we are, live in the Scale with Confidence Facebook group, early on a Monday morning, with a packed day and a really busy weekend. Lots of coffee and lubrication, drinks as it would be, to get going. So the thing we've got to be a bit careful with this is that we don't really want to have put too many cuts in this. So we better try and be keep the mind a little bit focused on this. Look, today is amazing. It's kind of like the coming together. There's a whole load of stuff going on at the Growth Hub right now that we're really super excited about over the next couple of months. This is just one thing, which is the 100th episode. So myself and Stuart are here today, which is really cool. And we're going to be talking about how to align your teams so you can step back from the operational side of your MSP. Towards the end, we have also got some events that we've got coming up that we really want to meet you to, and we're going to meet up with you guys. We're going to give you some details about that as well. And for those who are listening to this on the podcast and not in the Scale with Confidence Facebook group, you are missing out. You need to get into the Facebook group. This is where these guys have heard this content straight off the bat. And I think over the next coming weeks and months, there's going to be more premium content coming in straight away into this group before any of it. Some of it may not even get out to the socials, won't get out to the socials. So let's talk about this subject today, how to align your teams. It kind of brings me back, Stuart, to when I was in corporate. One of my first jobs, as I was a team member, and when I was working for Virgin Media, I was part of my team, and it was quite interesting while we were talking about planning the show that this is quite a resonant story. I was part of the team, and after about 6 months,
as in a team member,
as in a team member. Thanks for that. Help me with the hard ones. As I was working in this organisation, we were basically building the cable TV network in the UK. And after 6 weeks or so, I was then elevated to become the manager, the leader of this team, which was really great because I thought, this is brilliant. We're really ambitious. We're going to get everything's going well and all this. But it was actually really awkward. And I didn't realise until I reflect back on it why it was awkward, because all of a sudden, everyone who I was met up with and we were going out for lunch and going down the pub and having a few beers and everything like that, all of a sudden, I've got to now sign their holiday off.
Yeah.
And set them targets.
Ooh,
and I was 25, and I'm just like thinking, how do I do this? What's this? And luckily for me, at the time, NTL, Virgin Media, Cable Tellers it was then, provided us with a bucket load of training. And it was really good because they were super supportive. But what really came out of the I guess my first year in this role is that when you start, and it's very similar to kind of the MSP world, where when you start working in an organisation and then everyone's your peers and you're all kind of like matey, and then away you go, and then all of a sudden you've got to be the leader. And we have lots of conversations like this with our clients, don't we, about stepping up and becoming that leader, understanding the concept, the shadow of the leader, understanding how you can have a difficult conversation without falling out with someone, how you can let someone know that what they've done is not to the standard that you expect, and also you're busy doing all the work you have done yourself. And how do you start to delegate? And how do you start to, cascade that down to the team? So basically, we got a bucket load of training. I remember some really awkward role playing we did. I hated role play. Yeah, it's like role playing.
You couldn't sit still long enough.
I couldn't. You're absolutely right. Yeah, and I couldn't. And I just got caught out so many times when we're doing these role plays. But it really helped me cut my teeth. It really helped me understand that being a leader is about having people follow you, having people be engaged in what you are trying to achieve, and have them working with you. And then from that point onwards, even till today, everybody who I've kind of worked with, I just really enjoyed working with them, which is where we then flick it back into the vision and values. But it was about getting the right training, getting the right support, having someone there who could help me, you know, whether it be HR, whether it be my manager or whoever it was, which then built that confidence and gave me confidence to then to build. And then 8 years later, I left there and I was actually running the national network, you know, when all the mobile masts were going up and all of this sort of thing. And you sort of look back and you go, how on earth did that happen? But it happened with the training. And it's really funny how these things happen in life, because you don't realise what's happened until you look back.
Yeah.
And, you know, as I say, when we were planning for this show, it was really, really apparent. But this is...
It's evolution.
It is.
It's not a revolution. I suppose that step up of moving away from the detail, moving away from the technical, if we're in the MSP space, and which is your happy place, you know, and starting to let go. It's not a revolution. It's not like you've got to give it all up today and never touch it again.
No.
It's like, what can I do differently today that means I get a little bit of time, you know, doing the important stuff, or the stuff that's now become important if I'm going to grow, as opposed to the stuff that is about implementation. But what you touch on in that story, and it's a classic, I think we can all see ourselves at different different spaces in that evolution is, and I think there's two tracks of thought here. One is how you elevate people in your MSP. So you're picking somebody that could perhaps be your service delivery manager or help desk manager when you've just been a small team of 3 or 4. And it's also about you, how you step up as the leader of your business. So there's, depending on how big you are, if you're listening to this, it's the impact of how you expect your A players that could stepping up, the psychology and the journey they've got to go on. And also, if you're a bit smaller and it's you stepping up, it's the psychology of your journey. And so it touches on a couple of things of the leadership pinnacle, the comfort zone flow, and really into the our core philosophy that is businesses grow to the size of the thinking. Of the owner and of the business. So there's a huge number of things going on here. And I think the core thing is that first level of the leadership pinnacle.
No, it's not. Leadership. It's not. It's about the comfort zone. We've got to do the comfort zone slide.
Oh, okay.
Well, no,
that comes next.
No, does it really?
Yeah.
Okay, let's leave this in because this is live. Right. Talk to me about the leadership pinnacles. The pinnacle, Stuart.
Well, I think that's the context, because that's the context, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Leadership.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, as always, you're right.
The context of the leadership pinnacle is that there's personal leadership, strategic leadership, and then there's the team leadership piece. And the reason it starts with the personal leadership piece is that we've got to make that decision that we want to grow our business. And because there is that connection between your thinking and the direction and growth of the business, it's like, okay, if the businesses grow, I've got to grow. How am I going to change to step up to? Just like you were plucked, willingly into a role, and it was like, oh, scary. How do I do this? But you're excited at the same time. So you got this, from an emotional point of view, you got this excitement, but also this fear, and that's why it links. So the context is the leadership pinnacle, which is personal leadership, and then strategic, and then team. But what we're talking about, guys, today is comfort zone. And we all hear comfort zone. Yeah, we all get it. Like all of the cliches in business and life. But we've got to move out of our comfort zone. And I think this is when, in the MSP journey, when you're in survive and drive and even thrive, is the ceiling that everyone bumps into, hits their head against, is this it's actually your comfort zone. How do I become confident that this investment of time and money is going to work? And
how am I working on the right thing as well? And we've got a slide we're going to share with you guys here, because we realised that we got this slide at 10:59 and 38 seconds.
And because we're live, we can show it.
Because we're live,
you wouldn't be able to see it.
Share this, and let's just make sure the right thing has come up on the screen there.
But the comfort zone flow is, well, it's exactly that, isn't it?
There we go. Yeah, and this is, we talk about building confidence. We talk about everything that we do, or everything that anybody does. From when you leap from when you're born, is learning new things. Whether it be riding a bike, flying a plane, whatever it is. Building a relationship with somebody, you're learning new things, and the more you do it, and sometimes the more mistakes you make, and the more the more efficient, and the more you enjoy getting into that flow, is when you start to build that confidence.
Yeah, you've got to make mistakes. Yeah.
We've we developed this chart here that we use quite a lot, and this is what the Growth Hub's about. It's about providing structured and targeted support, because we know that when you're in your comfort zone, you're feeling a bit safe and you're in control, and life's good. But the people that who are ambitious to grow and are in a place where they're going, yeah, but there's something else. There's something else. They can kind of like they taste it. There's something else. Either they're ambitious and they're in a comfortable position, or they're ambitious and they're not in a comfortable position and they're feeling really kind of scared. Talk to us, Stuart, about some of the feelings as people move into the fear zone. What do you see?
I think there's two categories. One is people that are scared of taking the next step because they might get it wrong. So particularly when you're dealing with technical leaders, like MSPs generally are, it's like, well, I don't want to make a decision or do something unless I know I'm going to get it right. And then there's those that we might call a bit more don't think it through and try it, launch themselves off the cliff and then flap their arms to see if they can fly on the way down. And they get burnt. They jump into the fear zone, as we've got here, the comfort zone into the fear zone. They get burnt. The money they spend on marketing and agency, Facebook, doesn't work, and they go, I'm never doing that again. Marketing's rubbish. Or they hire somebody a bit more expensive than they've done, and they turn out to be not a good fit, and they say, hiring people's rubbish, I'll stay where I am. So you've either been burnt.
That won't work.
Because absolutely not. You've jumped into your fear zone and got hurt, or you're scared of moving and jumping into the fear zone. So you've got two things going on. But when you do, and it actually works, that's when you start the fear becomes less, because you're learning, you're realizing what worked, you're realizing it wasn't as bad as you thought. It's like that difficult phone call we have to make. Yeah. And you do it and you go, God, why didn't I do it earlier? It was fine. And then you realize that you should make difficult phone calls sooner than later. And that's the growth zone, because you've stepped into a new comfort zone, and then we start again. And I think this is the piece around leadership, is as a business owner, as an MSP owner, how do I step into my future self? How do I step into the leader that I need to become to lead the business in the way I need to lead it for it to grow how I want it to grow? That's a bit of a mouthful, but you've got to move first. You've got to make the decision to do something different. And usually that's like, what do I do with my time?
Exactly. And it's, we've all got the same amount of hours and minutes in a day. Generally, we find that business owners are still working heavily on the tech and on the other side, because I remember having a chat with one of our clients once. I won't name him, in Glasgow. And we were on a coaching call with him, and he said, look, guys, I'm going to be straight up with you here. This is like really difficult for me. And as soon as that door, someone knocks on my door next, in the office next door, and they say, hey, can I have a hand? I'm going to be burning carpet to get next door, because that is my happy place. That is where I really want to spend some time. And that's where I feel happy in my comfort zone. And with that particular, client, we've seen him grow massively over even just like the first 6 months of us working with him. And it's like, I tell you what it's like. And you sort of like, people go, oh yeah, but what does it feel like when if you go to go and do something really difficult, whether it be like a parachute jump, and you're really anxious about it, and you're going to jump out. I've never done it yet. And because I'm a bit scared about it, right? I'm in my comfort zone on terra firma.
I think that's the right comfort zone.
I'm pretty cool. Says the guy who's learning how to fly. I'm pretty cool with my feet on the floor. However, I absolutely can guarantee that if I got in the right mindset and I psyched myself up, and there was a big enough why, around a charity or the purpose of what I was doing, true, I jumped out of this plane, I knew that within a couple of seconds I'd be going, this is amazing.
And everyone says it.
Yeah, and then you hit the ground. I don't know, I haven't done it, but hopefully not hit the ground. But you land on the floor and you go, where's that plane? I want to go and do it again.
I think
because you've built the confidence in the fact that I'm going to jump out of the plane. I'm not going to die.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a bit of an extreme example for the podcast, but it's no different than having a difficult conversation with your techs who aren't doing what they're doing, or trying to say no. Say no is one of the biggest things. Can you help me? No, I'm a little bit busy, tied up at the minute, doing a marketing strategy or just about to sign up a new client or whatever it might be. I'll come back to you in 10 minutes. Just do that. No, yeah, of course I can. I can help you because I don't want to upset you. And I know you're working really hard.
And the killer bit to that is in that 10 minutes, think of two things that, the two things that you think would solve the problem.
Yeah.
And come back, come back to me with solutions.
I mean, there's a great analogy, isn't there? And I'm sure you've seen it. And it's a jar, isn't it, full of like rocks and stones and pebbles.
Yeah.
And
I think it's a Stephen Covey.
Yeah, it's something like that. And it's like the amount of time that you spend, and it breaks down into, the rocks are the big hours, and then the big things, and then there's the pebbles are the smaller things. And as you can imagine, filling up this jam jar with this pebble and the sand and everything, it's all the different amount of time that you spend in your day. And if you can, be disciplined enough to add all those minutes up, because it's really only going to take me 5 minutes. Don't worry about it. That's all right.
Yeah,
nothing takes bloody 5 minutes, for God's sake. Nothing in the world takes 5 minutes. I say to my wife, the more times you keep asking me, the longer it's going to be. But it's true. It is, these things do, everything takes, a lot longer than we anticipate. So what you can see on the screen there is the chart that we use where we help people to get through to that growth zone. And then when, as Stuart sort of said, once you've finalised it, you found your feet, life gets easier, you get into flow. Then you can feel that you can confidently set goals and targets that you're going to achieve. And the biggest thing is, oh my God, what if I set a target and I don't meet it? I'm going to be a failure. Do you know what? I'd rather not set a target because then I won't fail not setting a target, will I?
Yep, absolutely. I think we've all done that.
Yeah. So
unconsciously.
Top tip here is that when you set a target, just set it as a test, just for a couple of weeks or a month or whatever it might be, because you can't fail a test that you set yourself. And then just go, do you know what? This is all right. This is good. Involve the team, etc., and take it in from there.
But if you come back to how do I align my team to allow me to step back from the detail so that my business can grow, I think the how do I align my team? It starts with you. I think that's our first principle.
Yes.
And that's the first layer of the leadership pinnacle. It involves the comfort zone flow. So we've just talked about that. And then, how do I align my team? Well, the answer's in the statement. How do I align? It's about structure. How do I structure my team? If it's 3 or 4 people, or you've got 15, you're a 7-figure, 15-man team. If you want to scale and you're finding yourself stuck and too busy and kind of head down, backside up, then it's how do I structure my team? How do I align my team so that they can be more effective, so everyone can step up instead of everybody being head down, backside up? We can all be the opposite and think, okay, am I in my happy place? Am I working to my strengths? Have I got people around me that do the stuff that I'm not so good at? And this starts with you. Again, it comes back to you. Are you in the right role? Is my team structured and I've got the right people in the right role? And again, it's that cliche of, have you got the right people in the right role?
And being a business owner, it doesn't matter if you're an MSP owner and you don't want to be the leader. That's cool.
Absolutely cool.
Go and bring in an MD. Go and bring in someone who does want to do it. And if
get a business partner.
Yeah, get a business partner. Get a wife like Stuart, but just pick one that's a bit shorter, because there's a good job we're sitting down. We have all sorts of trouble taking photographs when we're standing up, because he's just about 9 feet taller than me. I need to get a box. You're going to buy me a box.
I can't get a big enough orange crate.
There are other considerations when picking a business partner than their height.
That's true.
But, the personal leadership, is around that confidence, isn't it? It's about, as you say, having that ambition and understanding what's in the gap between where you are today and what you need to look like. And sometimes people find it hard, don't they, to visualize what does good leadership look like? What does good leadership look like, Stuart?
What a great question.
That is a great question, wasn't it? And one that wasn't at all scripted.
It wasn't scripted. And what we're finding in this question, how do I align my team so I can step back from the detail? There's a stack load of different things that are involved here. So personal leadership, but I think, what does good leadership look like? It looks like flow. It looks like feeling like your business is flowing. It's working smoothly, and you're turning up and you're thinking, right, what am I going to get today? And you're spending less time feeling bogged down than chasing your tail. And you're actually going, do you know what? I've had a really great day today. And the team are like, yeah, we've had a really great day today because we've managed to get that project completed on time. The kit's turned up. We've hit our KPIs for tickets, this day, this week. And I think it's good leadership is what success looks like. Daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, in alignment to how you've defined you want success to look like.
And that's a really interesting point, because we had this last week when we had some people in on those people who are on the Zoom and on the in the Facebook group behind us. You will be able to see our amazing new the MSP Growth Hub office. Those who are listening to it on a podcast, you can't, because you're not in the Facebook group. So you need to go back into the Facebook group, and then you can have a look at our swanky new office, which you're more than welcome to come and visit anytime. Anyway, what I was just about to mention was, what success looks like is different for every single person, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean I've got to run a 7-figure MSP. It doesn't necessarily mean I've got to get my gross profit to this level. It doesn't mean I've got to have 20 or 30 staff or whatever it might be. You might only want to work 1 day a week. You might want to work 2, 3, 4, 5. You might actually, we had a guy in here the other day, a multi-7-figure MSP business. He loves working 6 days a week because that's his business. He absolutely enjoys it. And he gets his family time, and he's chilled out, a really, really great guy. But it kind of brings back to, you need to decide what winning looks like for you, and you need to decide what success looks like. Hours, money, material things, non-material things. Might be giving back, might be charity, impact, all sorts of impact in the world and the globe and whatever else it might be. So and
that's so true, because of all the guys that we're working with, they've got different values around why they're running their MSP. Some have got an ethical sort of green emphasis. Others have got like a healthcare sort of emphasis. Others have got like professional services. We're talking niche here, but let's not go off the marketing thing. So it's your business. It's your sandpit. Make it yours. Make
it your own. So that's the personal leadership part of it, which is around confidence, wasn't it? The second part, which we're just going to quickly touch on, is around strategic leadership, which is around clarity, isn't it? And where you're going, and kind of like where you steering this ship.
Absolutely. The strategic leadership piece is, once you've got the personal bit dialed in, and we've got the confidence, and you're willing to step up and out, is like, okay, where's it going? Because you need to be strategically clear. You need to have that clarity around where you want to take the business and what success looks like, because otherwise we can't move to the next level. And the next level is
team leadership.
Absolutely.
Which is then around, leveraging and getting your teams. And we talk
love it,
a lot about target setting, but this is for me the kind of like the first stage for this is around engagement, and it's around connecting your team with what you're doing and what you're trying to do. What? I don't know. I haven't got a plan.
Strategic strategy.
That's right.
That's why there's a sequence to this.
Yeah, absolutely right. And then once you've got the leverage of that team, and they're connected and they understand what you're doing and everything like that, then it just gets that's when your life starts to get a little bit easier.
As we build those layers, that's where we go from stabilization to strengthening, and that's where the acceleration bit comes. You start to get the flow in your sales, in your marketing, in your onboarding, in the flow of how the help desk works without you being involved, and that's the pinnacle of being able to move away from the detail, because you've aligned your team behind the strategy, your vision, but it starts with you.
Fantastic. What a great episode. High five.
Fab.
Right, we've got a couple of questions that have come in, and they are questions that we hear quite a bit, in fairness. These come in through the email. The first question was, how do I find the time, as I'm already busy doing all the technical stuff, I'm stuck in the weeds, and now I've got to start thinking about things like leadership, sales, marketing, growing the business, because I know that I need to do these things, but I just can't even think about how on earth I'd even start.
It's a common question. It's an FAQ, isn't
Yep.
it? It's like, I'm stacked out. How the hell do you expect me to do all of this extra stuff as well? Where do we start?
Discipline. Whoa, no.
Yeah.
I got called out on calling it discipline.
Did you?
Richard Tubb.
Ooh.
He said routine. He said
routine.
discipline was, he said, and this was really good actually, he said that discipline is one of these words that's connected with pain and connected with, a consequence of not doing the right thing. When in actual fact, what we're trying to do is we're trying to install a really nice routine that you're excited about, that you're motivated, you've got energy that you want to work with. And I kind of like that, which I thought was pretty cool.
I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah,
I think you have the discipline.
You might need a little bit of a spat as well.
With,
yeah.
And then it becomes
Yes.
habit, doesn't it? Because
Yes.
you've got to form the habit.
Yes. Yes.
Think,
I'll speak to Richard about it was a really good shout out. But yeah, it's around building that habit and also having the confidence to say, if I'm going to turn my phone off for 30 minutes each morning to focus on the plan, because if you haven't got a plan, then you're going to be, I guess this goes hand in hand with what do you want to do with the time. If you don't have a plan and you're not structured on what you want to achieve, then when you find that first 30 minutes that you're going to spend on your business, you're just going to muck about because you're not going to
go on Facebook.
Yeah, go on Facebook because you're not going to
Reddit.
Reddit, got to go in there. You'll be there for days. You'll be going in and not specifically completing a task. So the first thing is around, for that first 30 minutes a day, it might be, is having, believing, I think it's believing that your clients aren't going to leave you, the business isn't going to suddenly fold, the whole world's not going to end, and just because you've disappeared, it's going to happen. So, I would just say, look, just start off small, 30 minutes a day, focusing on a key activity, use the Pomodoro method, 30 minutes, in this 30 minutes, I want to get such and such done, put the timer on, turn your phone off.
What's the one thing I want to do today?
What's that one thing? How would you answer that question, Stuart?
I would say that every week, every month, you have millions of examples, not millions, but loads of examples of where you can take time to work on the thing that's important to you. So if you've broken a leg or injured yourself or been, had the flu, had COVID, COVID's a great example. You've been absolutely flat out. You've had to go to bed. The business is still there. You were forced to take 5 days, 12 days, 10 days out of your business because you couldn't work. Your business was still there. So therefore you can be ill for 10 days and your business doesn't suffer. Okay, stuff didn't get done, but the business is still there. So what if you took 1 day a week, half a day a week? And we work on the 10% formula, don't we?
Yeah.
With our clients, is like, you give us 10% of your working week, 2 to 3 to 4 hours, and we'll help you transform the business. And it works. It works. If you take that time to decide, I am going to, and this is the discipline to make it a routine. If you take that hour to do that thing, go to the gym, have a proper lunch, read a book, work on your to-do list, do some marketing, you will absolutely, it's within your power, isn't it? It's within your power.
And start small. So if you got to this point in the podcast, that's your action. You're now accountable to us, and you need to make sure that you go and do that. And we want to hear some great stories from people who are doing that as well.
What's the one thing you're going to do this week that will make it a great week?
Yeah. Okay. The second question we got here was, how do I set my team? How do I get my teams to take ownership when they never seem to not do what they want? You ask them to do the techie stuff, no problem at all. I'll get that done. But if you want them to organise an initiative that's outside their comfort zone, how do we start to get the teams? And I guess it does go back to the A word again, doesn't it? Alignment. How do we align the teams with what we're doing? For me, that's around, again, it's connecting them to the vision and what you're trying to achieve with the business, not necessarily profitability. That's always a bit of a clunky one if you're talking to them about profit and they might not understand the difference between the business owner's profit and the actual cost to run the business. So be really careful about that one. But, connecting them with the vision, how many clients we want to serve, what type of clients we want to serve, what type of service do we want to give them? And as soon as you start getting them involved, you're getting them engaged, give them a place to talk, give them a place to vent, listen. My mum used to say, bless her, you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth, use them in that proportion. For me, it's around connecting with them and getting that engagement, however that might be, but not necessarily just on your tech meetings on monthly catch up or something like that as well.
And the big one that comes up with is with training. I give them time to do the training, to go on the portal, and they never do it. I give them time in the diary. How do I get them to value it?
Yeah.
And I think with any project, and I don't mean client project, I mean internal project, you've got to explain why it's important, the vision of the project, and you've got to check in that they know what to do, i.e. they've got a plan, what are the steps. So it's do they understand why we're doing it?
Yeah.
Have they got a plan, and what are the steps to execute, A, B, C, D? And finally, it's accountability.
Yeah.
I need it by the end of the week, or if it's a bit of a longer time scale, you've got to check in. There's accountability.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a great question, how do I get my team to take ownership? You've got to get them to buy in, understand why, make sure that they've got a plan so they know what they're doing. And then there's an expectation exchange about deadline, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what success looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
Great question.
Well, look, that has been a fantastic episode. We've got a few things we just want to share with you now. Hope you've enjoyed it. Great to see you guys on a Monday morning and finding time. I always used to think they're really busy on Mondays.
Yeah.
They've got time to sit on
Might
Facebook.
be multitasking.
They could be walking the dog.
They could be.
I would imagine that's probably exactly what they're doing. But look, this has been a great, fun episode for us. 100th episode. Here's to the next 100. And we'll see where that goes. We have got some really exciting things coming up. So as I mentioned in a video I put out at the weekend, if you haven't heard of the Tech Tribe, then you must have been living under a rock. It's an amazing community run by Nigel Moore and Richard Tubb. And there's thousands of MSPs in there. We're in there. We love it. It's a great place to be. And we are starting to hold now regular Tech Tribe meetups in Luton. Here in the office, in our amazing mastermind suite here. And the first one is on Wednesday, August the 24th at 5:30. Come and meet up, get some pizza, get some beers, have a chat, find out what's going on. Really great sessions. There'll be some more information to follow on this and also out on socials as well. So that's really cool. And we're going to do that every 2 months. So it'd be really great to meet up with you guys and help you out and understand, connect as well. The second thing is Stuart and I are a joint keynoting at the Managed Service Summit in London.
Yeah.
In
14th of September.
Correct.
Yes.
Wednesday, 14th of September. Be there or be square. And we're going to be, we're working on an amazing keynote at the moment.
It's going to be very cool.
Which is going to be really, really good. Called Why Your Happy Place Will Make You Sad. And to learn more about that, you need to click on the link and find out about that. And if you're listening to this podcast and you're not in the Scale with Confidence Facebook group, you are missing out. You need to get in it. Here's the link. It's only for ambitious MSPs. It's where we give you premium content. We're showing up in there every day now, and we can connect with you and kind of answer your questions. May ask you some questions as well. And we look forward to seeing that. So that for me is about. That's about it for me. That's a wrap for you. Well done, Stuart. That's been great. I hope you've all enjoyed the show. Go and have an amazing day. Enjoy the rest of your week. And we look forward to connecting with you all soon.
Yeah,
that's it from us.
Thanks, everyone.
Over and out.
See ya.
Bye. So I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, I'd love it if you could leave a rating and review on your favourite podcast platform. If you want to learn more about how to take your MSP to 1 million, or if you're already there, go faster, then come and join Stuart Warwick and myself in the Scale with Confidence Facebook group. The link is in the show notes. You go and enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.